So Outriders is here at last and it is absolutely awesome. I'm having a complete blast with it. I streamed for 6 hours yesterday. Just about everyone that came into the stream were saying that the game looked absolutely amazing as well, so it was great to see everyone else hyped. Now, I've actually had the game for around about 3 days. I got early access being an ambassador, so I've managed to finish the campaign. I'm working on a Cryo Technomancer at the moment, which as you can see from the gameplay here is a whole lot of fun, and I've just started to dip into the end game aspect of it. Now, this is what I'm actually going to cover in this video, because when we were streaming yesterday, as mentioned, everyone was really impressed with how it looked, but I've seen a few questions, people that were concerned about the longevity of the game and what the end game would actually entail. So we're going to break it down and we're going to cover that in this video. Now, we'll talk about the expeditions first. These are missions that open up once you actually finish the end game. I'll show you some gameplay from an expedition as well. We'll then talk about the crafting system, because that is really important to your end game, and that is going to take up a lot of the bulk of the playtime when you're trying to collect mods for that. And then finally, you've actually got the story mode, the world tier system, and also side quests as well. That's something you can do once you finish the story as well. But let's jump in and we'll talk about the expeditions first. So this is the expeditions here. As mentioned, these appear once you actually finish the main story campaign. So we have 15 different maps in total. They take place within existing biomes in the game, but it's brand new maps, so you won't have seen these before. They'll all be new when you get into them. Each time you bring this map up, you'll have 3 random missions that you can select from. This is to stop you from running the same mission over and over, so it's actually pretty smart they've done that. So I'll show you, just for example, you've got Mountain Outpost here, and you actually get your time for it as well. You can see it's giving me the best time I've got here, which is 2-star. If we go all the way over to the side over here, you've actually got harder missions to do, and these require a currency that drops within the regular missions. You can see down the bottom left I've got 117 of that particular currency, and to launch this harder mission I would need 60 of that currency there. This one here requires you to get 40,000 of your currency before you can actually unlock this, so it's going to take a fair amount of time. I've done run about 3 or 4 of these missions and I've only got 120, but imagine as the difficulty goes up you'll get more from them. Now, talking about the difficulty, you can see that over here you've got 15 different tiers, so it's very similar to the world tier system, but you've got world tier for story mode, and then you've got challenge tier for this. So when you finish the story mode and you start off expeditions, you'll start on challenge tier 3, and when you start to complete levels, this will actually fill up. The more it fills up, the better gear you'll actually get, and you can see for each of the missions as well, when you get into it, you've got a leaderboard, so you can see your best time and you can see your best rating as well. But once again, with the challenge tier system, you'll have a higher chance for gear to drop at the end of the mission, the higher it actually is. And I believe once you get close to about level 15 for the challenge tier, you potentially get a guaranteed legendary every run. I'm pretty sure I've read that, but don't quote me 100%, but I'm sure I have read that, and getting to challenge tier 15 is going to take a fair amount of time as well. So that's expeditions. Let me actually show off one final screen to do with them before we jump in and we talk about the crafting system. So this is your guide screen that comes up the first time you actually go into them. We've basically covered it, but just to go over it once again here so you get a better idea. You've got your challenge tier. You can see the difficulty is determined by selecting a challenge tier. The fastest way to unlock new tiers is to play on the highest currently available tier. Better completion time mean more tiers are unlocked and more drop pod resources are gathered as well. We then have the collecting loot aspect. So with this, loot is collected from expeditions. If you win, it'll be available at the drop pod. So this is essentially like a big chest at the end of the level, and you have loads of gear raining out it, so it looks absolutely amazing. If you fail, it says you get it in the preparation room. That will just be your hub, I believe. And then you've got at the end here the final fight and boss. We've already touched on this, so this is when you unlock challenge tier 15 and gather 40,000 of your drop pod resources, which again is going to take an absolute age. Then you can do the final expedition, the Eye of the Storm. So that's one aspect of it there. As mentioned, it's within the same biomes we've seen in the game, but it's 15 brand new missions. You can choose 3 at a time. The better you do, the better you'll actually be rewarded as well. But let's now have a look at the crafting system. So this is the crafting menu here now. If anyone needs it, I'll look to do a guide to crafting. It's pretty self-explanatory, but for the purpose of this video, we're really looking at crafting when it's related to your end game and how it gives you more to actually do. So if we go into the mod menu, this is where it all comes about. So when you're dismantling gear in the game, you'll get a mod and it goes into your mod library. Now, a question I had yesterday actually was, when you place a mod on an item, do you then lose it? You don't. Once it's in your mod library, that's it there. Now, if we actually jump back a second here, this is for your armour, but if we got into the weapons, which is just over here, I've got a pretty nice legendary there, level 37 that particular one is. You can level up your weapons as well, so if you find one you like, you can just continue leveling it up as you play. But if we go back into the mods for the weapons here, you can see I've got all the tier 1, I've got just about all the tier 2, there's just one I'm missing, and then you've got your legendary mods here. So your legendary mods will be a lot more powerful, but it means you need to dismantle an actual legendary in order to get them. So of course you need to do this with all 4 characters. Something you can actually do which is really good, if you finish the game in one character, or you've got a main character and you want to place them all, so what you can do is you can take your gear, you can put it in storage, you can have that other character that you've just started playing pick it up and dismantle it, and they'll get those mods straight away, because the mods aren't account wide, they are only character wide. So in regards to completing the mod library, this is something that's going to take a whole lot of time. You're going to constantly be farming these weapons, because not only in a lot of instances will you want one copy for yourself, but you'll want one copy to dismantle, and maybe you want a few more copies to dismantle and give to other characters as well if you like that particular mod. So this is another area that you could spend hundreds if not thousands of hours decking out your characters and all the mods you would like to use. Now, just to finish up, there's one more thing that I didn't really expect would add to that longevity, but it looks like it most certainly will. So let's quickly check that out. So this here of course is a story map. I imagine you will have seen it by now, but when you reach a certain point in the campaign, you start to get new missions opening up on some of the earlier levels. You get what's known as wanted and hunter missions. These are where you need to hunt down select humans, or you need to actually hunt down certain monsters as well, and they are unique boss fights. The monsters, they are really pretty awesome, the ones that I've seen so far. Once you've done them, you can turn them in for unique gear. Now, on top of this as well, with the story mode, you've got the world tier system. So we talked about the challenge system and the endgame mode, the expeditions, but you've got your world tier mode that you want to grind in story mode as well, because when you do that, the last few tiers actually give you guaranteed legendaries. I think it's the last 3 or 4 tiers, so that's 3 or 4 guaranteed legendaries. So that's another thing you'll be doing there. You'll be grinding your story mode, grinding your expeditions, you'll be grinding your mods, and you'll be doing this in 4 different characters as well. Now, obviously on this channel I cover Marvel's Avengers as well. We've got the Black Panther update, which is a fair amount of time off. I think this game will very easily keep me busy until that actually comes out, and you can probably tell I'm quite excited about getting in and really playing around with this. Now, let me know what you think of the game that you've played so far. If this is the first time you've really seen what the end game will entail, are you impressed by how much there will actually be? Do you see it being a game that you're going to pump hundreds of hours into? So let me know about that in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.